Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel. And I'm in the conservatory today. I'm not on the allotment, it's too hot for me. So I thought I'd shoot my what I'm sowing and growing in July video. And what I tend to do in this video is I'll take a quick look at the seedlings that we've currently got that aren't planted yet. So that's mainly the stuff that was planted in May and a few that were planted in June. And then we'll take a look at everything that we're planning to sow in July. Before we get started, I should just say that everything you see, all these images that I'm going to throw up in a minute, these are all from my databases that I use to manage the allotments and everything that I'm sowing, all the different varieties that I've got, everything that I'm harvesting, keeps track of everything basically. So if you look in the description, there's all the details that you need about getting access to these databases. You can look at my data, you can take empty copies of the databases, use them for yourself. You can customize them to your heart's content, add your own data to them, change the design of the databases, etc, etc. So it's all really, really flexible. So yeah, I hope you find that useful. And I'll just do a quick little bit of a roundup to let you know how everything's going. So we've harvested so far about £4,300 worth of fruit and veg so far, and the fruit is actually starting to be a significant amount of that now, which is really nice. And Debbie is busy not only harvesting fruit but preserving it as well, and we've got some fantastic preserves. We've actually got a new database now that I've set up, which lets her capture all the recipes for all of her preserves and then all of the batches that she makes for all those different preserves. So we're getting much more insight into what we're all the preserves that we're making and how many, and you know what the use by dates are on them and all that, what the ingredients and recipes are and all that sort of thing. We get asked a lot about that, so it's going to make it much easier to share information on the preserves. So what else? Yeah, well, it's been crazy weather, hasn't it? Really crazy. You know, sometimes it's just incredibly hot and sometimes it's been really, really cold. And you know, so many things just haven't grown for us this year. We've got a real problem getting beans started. You know, they're looking really unhealthy, and they're certainly no more than a foot high at the moment, which is just crazy for July. Unfortunately, we've got beans in the well, we started beans in the polytunnel runner beans, and they're outside now in big giant pots, and so we've got plentiful supply of fresh beans. But it would be really nice if the ones in the ground had grown. And we had similar issues with the squash. Only really in the last week has the squash started putting on significant growth. But we do seem to have a reasonable amount of fruit set, so that's pretty good. Right, so let's get on and start talking about the seedlings from May, and I'll pull the information up on the computer now, and so let's take a look at what we've got. So everything I think has pretty much succeeded. All the broccolis are growing okay, all the cabbages, calabrese, Romanesco cauliflowers and all of that. We did plant some spinach in the ground, and that is up, and I'm not really sure whether I would call that a success, because we've only taken one harvest of it and it's already running to seed. Now I know that was going to be an issue, but I did think, well, can I get one decent spinach harvest? And it looks like we're going to get two decent spinach harvests off this before we have to take those plants out, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, true spinach is really nice. And it doesn't matter that much because we've got a really good supply of New Zealand spinach, and that's doing really well. So we also have got a bed of chard, two beds of chard. One of them is in the back garden and that's not doing so well. And we're not quite sure. We did think it was contaminated, some sort of weed killer contamination, because last year we did have a similar sort of issue where basically the seeds just didn't grow. They just stood at the same size for like 6 or 7 weeks and just didn't grow at all. And we've had the same issue with the chard, and just now in the last couple of days it started to pick up on growth. And basically the same batch on the allotment are about a foot high, so they're tiny little plants at home, and the ones on the allotment are just looking really healthy, and we've started harvesting them already, so that's kind of amazing. All these cucumbers, the Ladiva, the Market Moor, the gherkins and all that, all of those are in the ground and growing pretty well. But all these beans, the French beans, the runner beans, the Belotti beans, they're the ones that just haven't thrived. It's just been too cold and windy for them. But other than that, carrots, they're all germinated. So the way I do my potatoes is I do them super early. So we start harvesting potatoes in April, and then the containers that those potatoes are in, I put the next batch of potatoes in. So these are the next batch of Charlottes, and yeah, they're doing pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with those. And so what else? Radish. No, I didn't sow any radish, so I don't know why they're on the list. I don't really like sowing radish at this time of year. I find that it just go woody so quickly, and there's just so many amazing things to eat, so why bother growing something that's just not really fantastic at this time of year. Start sowing radish again in the back end of August. So we do enjoy radish for about half of the year, but yeah, it's not a great summer crop. So that is pretty much what we've got for May. So let's take a look at June. Right, so again we're looking at my database here again, and we've sown some these little chantarinari, I can't pronounce that very well, red core carrots. Jerry sent me those from Grow Seed to try out, and he keeps sending me some great things to try out, does Jerry, and he provides those to me for free, which is really nice because it helps with my seed bill. And yeah, some more Romanesco, and I've actually had to plant some courgettes. Now, I don't really know what happened, but I sowed 6 courgette plants. They were growing really well. I'm pretty sure I planted them out, but I cannot find them. So I don't know. I don't know whether the seed packet had something else in it, but I don't know. I don't know what happened to them. So I planted some more. But it doesn't really matter because we've got loads and loads of trumpuccinos, which are like a courgette. In fact, they're multi-purpose really. If you leave them to mature, they're like a winter squash, like a butternut squash. But if you eat them early, when they're young and tender, they're like a seedless courgette. So we really like those. Obviously, we're always planting salads. But what I'm also doing is I'm planting a few tomatoes, and it's really late for tomatoes, but that's the whole point really. These will go into containers, and hopefully when I pull the tomatoes out of the polytunnel, which I'll be doing in October time, I'll still have some nice young healthy plants in containers that I can bring into the polytunnel, and then I'll keep harvesting those all the way through October and November, and hopefully, if I get things right, December and January. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. More potatoes went in June. I planted my first batch of chicories. Palarossa and the Caesar, and we really like these. By the time you get to November, December time, there's not much colour and crunch in the salad mixes that we put together, but well, certainly not from lettuces. But Palarossa and Caesar, they're both a great way to get lovely colour and lovely crunch into those mixes, so I really like that. What I'm also doing is I'm planting some sweet peppers, and again, they're really late. I'm not expecting a harvest off them, not this year anyway. Last year we got a harvest in February from plants that we planted at this time of year. So we're going to give it a go again. We're going to do a few more of them, but the real intention is to overwinter those plants and see if we can get an early harvest by overwintering. And the challenge I find with the overwintering is greenfly, because you're also overwintering greenfly. Whether it's worth it or not, I don't know. I'm going to give it another go and see how it gets on. Spring onions, we're always planting spring onions. These are some more that Jerry sent me, and then I'm going to plant this. And so this is red rhubarb, and it's theoretically it's a kale that you harvest as a baby leaf kale for salads, but I'm not a big fan of baby leaf kale in my salad mixes, so I'm going to be using it as an ingredient in the smoothie mixes. And I think that's great, because I really like, when I'm doing smoothie mixes, to have a wide range of different leaves, and in particular I'm looking for sort of, you know, things from the lettuce family, things from the chicory family, things from the brassica family, and things from the beet family, spinach and beet family. And that's to get a wide range of nutrients, as wide a range as possible. And I suppose I could add a few weeds as well to that to get an even wider range. But yeah, a wide range and high oxalate and low oxalate plants. We want to make sure that we're not having too many oxalates in our smoothie mixes. And then we've got autumn sown broad beans, and I've got 3 batches, I think, of those. I'm going to do one per month, so I'm doing one in June, I'm doing one in July, I'm doing one in August, very early in August. And this is Luz de Otono, and it's a variety that's specifically tuned to delivering an autumn harvest, and worked well for us last year. And I'm quite keen to find things that I can get out of the ground by October, because I've got other things that I need to get in the ground in October, like the onions and the garlic and the elephant garlic and the green manures, and you know, all of those sorts of things. And then there's another tomato here, another one that I'll be growing over winter, and I'm going to put in 2 batches of that, one at the beginning of July and one at the end of July, because I'm not quite sure yet on the timings to get these plants overwintering as relatively small plants. Some of them I don't want to overwinter, and some of them I do. Some of them I want to be harvesting in December and January, and then some I want to overwinter as small plants. So anyway, we'll see how that all goes. Sometimes if they get too leggy, I just take cuttings off them, and then I'll overwinter the cuttings. See how that goes. And then some salad rocket, and then back to true spinach. So although, as I said, we've got New Zealand spinach is going to last all the way through until probably until the first frost, basically, so sometime in November. But it's nice to have some true spinach as well. So I hope you like this video. Slightly different style to my normal videos. Yeah, anyway, any feedback, any hints, tips, everything like that, all gratefully received. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.